Welcome to the Inject Creativity live show. My name is Rob the Robot from the Adobe Education team. This is a free online show for primary, secondary and post-secondary educators interested in enhancing digital literacy, communication and creativity in the teaching and learning process. Here are your hosts, Dr. Tim Kitchen and Aaron Raithke.
Thanks, Rob, and welcome to Inject Creativity Live, a show based on creativity for all education areas with a focus on Adobe tools and resources. Welcome, Aaron.
Hi, Tim, and a special welcome to everyone who's joined us live and those watching on demand via the Adobe for Education YouTube channel or the Australasian Adobe for Education Facebook group for this, the 63rd episode, I should say, of Inject Creativity Live being recorded in May 2022.
Let's start this episode with an acknowledgement of country. We respect and honour all Indigenous people from the lands we reach out to during this event. We acknowledge their stories, traditions and living cultures. We acknowledge them as the first educators and the first creatives, and we commit to building a brighter future together. Well, I'm coming to you from Wurundjeri land in the Kulin Nation, otherwise known as Melbourne, Victoria, Australia.
And I'm coming to you from the country of the Jagera, Yugara and Ugurapul people from around the area, otherwise known as Brisbane, Queensland, Australia.
Let's welcome our techie whiz and Adobe Senior Customer Success Manager, Jerry Wong, to the stage. Hi, Jerry.
Hi, everyone. I'm coming to you from the home of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, otherwise known as Sydney, New South Wales. During this episode, we will be hearing from Adobe Education leader, Stephen Colbert.
And we will be promoting a number of Adobe-related education resources and professional learning opportunities for you to take back to your schools or universities or other places of learning.
We do hope you enjoy this episode.
And if you do, please share it with your colleagues and wider education social networks via the Adobe for Education YouTube channel.
You're watching Inject Creativity Live with Tim Kitchen and Aaron Raithke.
Well, in the last episode, I did a quick demo of Adobe Express and how to actually convert a Word document into a PDF. We're going to do the opposite now. So I'm going to quickly share my screen. And I'm back in, I'm already logged into Adobe Express, and I'm in the full version here because I've logged in with a school account, which gives you access to the full version. If you're still a school that hasn't got yourself set up yet with the full free version, because there's no cost involved for Adobe Express for K-12 schools. So it's really important that you get yourself set up. But it does involve the IT admin talking to the right people to make sure that all the students and teachers are logged in through what's called the Adobe Admin Console. No cost involved other than the time it takes to get that process done. But once you're in, you are in and you've got this amazing resource. And this is one of the many things that you can do. So last time I went to the quick actions, and I'll just put my little pointer on here. So try a quick action, and then I went to PDF and I did this one here, convert to PDF. Now I'm going to do this one, convert from PDF. So as I click on that little button, it brings up this widget. It says drag and drop a PDF document. Well, I'm literally going to go and find the one I created in the last episode, which we recorded only a few minutes ago. And in my downloads folder, here it is. There's the PDF. And if I click and drag that, in fact, let me just first of all open it so you can see what it currently looks like as a PDF document. So there it is with a banner, an image, and a hyperlink as a PDF in Acrobat. So now I'm going to grab that little icon that represents that document and literally drag the PDF into this square. And it says convert your PDF to, and by default it goes to PowerPoint, because it kind of, I suppose it looks a bit like a PowerPoint, so I was assuming that's what you want. But in this case, I don't want it to be a PowerPoint, I want it to be a Word doc. Notice that I could convert it to an Excel. I could convert it to an image file or an RTF, rich text format. But I'm going to go with Microsoft Word document and then click download. Now what's happening without me doing anything, it's doing all of that work in the cloud. It's using the power of the internet to do the processing. Your file has been downloaded, got it, and it tells me on the bottom left-hand corner, I can see there's the old one that I converted in the last episode. There's the new one that's just been converted. if I go to my Finder now, sitting in my Downloads folder is that brand new document, which is now a Word doc. So if I open that up, it should open up. Here it comes. It's coming up on this screen. I'll just make sure it's a bit bigger so you can see it.
There it
now
is.
that PDF is a Word document. So I've done both. How cool is that, Erin?
That is very cool because, you know, those converters that you can get sometimes maybe do a you know, reasonable sort of job, but it's nice to see that it clearly identified the image assets and the text and then converted it back so easily.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So make sure you have a look at Adobe Express or Creative Cloud Express and check out all the incredible features that are there. Especially note that it is totally free of charge for any K-12 school around the globe. So that's really, really cool. Hey, we've got a special stinger to play. See if you recognize who this young lady is.
Hi everyone, I'm Tanya Abbott from the Global Education team here at Adobe for Education. I'm so excited that you are watching Inject Creativity Live. Please check us out with the Adobe Creative Educator program and be on the lookout for all the amazing challenges that we have every month. See you soon.
The 18th of May is the deadline to submit your students' entries into the Regeneration International Short Film Competition with Adobe.
Tim and Rob put together this clip to share more.
Hi folks, I'm Tim from Adobe.
And I'm Rob the Robot.
Get your cameras, microphones, tripods,
And Adobe apps ready for the
Regeneration International Short Film Competition with Adobe. This competition is part of the 2022 Regeneration Youth Festival, which is focused on building a resilient and empowered future.
Tim, what do the students need to do to enter this competition?
Good question, Rob. The students need to organise a small group of preferably 3 to 5 and plan, film and edit a short film that goes for between 1 and 2 minutes based on the theme of building resilience and empowerment for creating the world we all wish to live in, with a focus on sustainability and a reference to at least one of the United Nations Sustainability Development Goals.
Can it be an animation?
Sure can, Rob.
What about a mix of real life like me and animation like you?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, what do you mean like an animation like me? I mean, you're the animation in our relationship. There are 2 main age categories for this film competition. Years 5 to 9 students, about aged 10 to 14, and years 10 to 12 students, about aged 15 to 18. Winning entries from each section will be showcased at the Regeneration Festival on Friday the 3rd of June at the Immigration Museum in Melbourne and live streamed out to those who live outside of Melbourne. The films or animations need to be edited with at least one of the following Adobe products: the new Creative Cloud Express, formerly known as Adobe Spark,
Which is free for all schools.
Adobe Premiere Rush,
Which is also free for all schools.
Adobe Animate, which is part of the Adobe Creative Cloud and available in most schools.
Premiere Pro, the ultimate video editing solution used by professionals and also available in most schools.
After Effects, which is also a full-on professional editing and video compositing tool.
My all-time favourite Adobe tool, Character Animator, for real-time animation. I don't know where I'd be without Adobe Character Animator.
You could even use Adobe Photoshop to help make your film or animation. A list of all the criteria and other information about how to enter can be found via this QR code. Take careful note that the registration form needs to be completed by a teacher, and all registrations need to be in by Friday the 15th of April. The films and animations need to be submitted before Friday the 13th of May to allow the international panel of judges time to select which films will be showcased at the festival.
Get involved in the Regeneration International Short Film Competition with Adobe.
And share how we can create the world in which we all wish to live in. We are getting a few dates mixed up there. The 15th of April that has been and gone, obviously, but we're actually extending it now. So if you do want to bring in a group of students and bring your film in, you can do that. But the film needs to be in by the end of next week. So you've only got a week and a half to actually get that done. At the moment, we've got 36 schools registered and over 1,700 students potentially involved.
And remember, this competition is open to any student from years 5 to 12 throughout Australia, New Zealand, and into Southeast Asia. So register your school and submit your videos by the 13th of May to get involved.
Hi there, it's Claudio from the Adobe Global EDU team. Thanks for watching Inject Creativity Live. If you haven't already, join the Adobe Creative Educator Program.
Well, Aaron, a new set of Adobe Teach Meets is happening on May 25 and 26.
Here's a quick Teach Meets promo from Tim.
Hi folks, we have another set of amazing Adobe Teach Meets coming up soon. Each session offers at least 5 workshop opportunities with either Adobe's low-lift tools like CC Express or the more professional tools for experienced users. The workshops are run by Adobe experts and classroom teachers who know what works in any curriculum area to engage students in the classroom. Look up adobe.ly/teachmeets and register your interest. And please do share this link with your colleagues and wider education networks.
Hi, I'm Tacey Trowbridge, Head of Adobe's Thought Leadership and Advocacy. Thanks for watching Inject Creativity Live. And if you're excited about creativity, take a listen to the Creative Educator Podcast.
Adobe Education leader Stephen Colbert is not actually able to join us live tonight because of his teaching commitments, but he has very kindly pre-recorded his session.
So here is Stephen Colbert with his presentation titled The Role of Challenge and Competition Within Teaching.
I made up a word to be.
Oh, we'll take it to the start.
Hello, lovely people. Thank you for having me, Adobe and Tim. Obviously, appreciate that. The topic is competition and challenge networks for teachers. So basically, we all like to think that we're reflective and that we're reflecting on things. In the research literature, the idea of reflexivity sort of extends reflection from something that you sort of just do into your journal. It doesn't necessarily relate to the world, to something a little bit broader, sort of self to world and world to self and back again. We did it as an edu reading back in Article 30, so that was probably end of 2021. And what we're talking about here is Dan Hasler has a book out, Habits of Leadership or something similar. It talks about bridges of support. So the idea being, where you want to get to and where you are right now, there's sort of, you need some support to get from there to there. And so for me, my personal reflection is basically the idea that I've been a teacher for, this is my 12th year now, and I've always valued teaching and sort of the wider community of teachers that surrounds teaching. And I always really enjoyed learning from other teachers and the idea, who is the one that teaches the teachers? And I've been inspired by those people that have done that and continue to do that in our world. And, maybe one day I will too. And in Simon Sinek's 3 Worthy Rivals, he writes about a worthy rival. And I think us as teachers, it's not necessarily something that we're naturally confident with, because teaching is, of course, a caring profession. And we know that, everything we do more or less for our students. But I've found, for me personally, over the years, that that's not always enough for me, for whatever reason. And so I'm looking to kind of go above and beyond in many respects. And so, to me, I do that because that then feeds back to what I do full time in my job. So if I spend, an hour reflecting upon, writing research on teaching, education, the system, I find that returns to me threefold in the form of the way that I teach my students, the way that I interact with them. So to me, it's a nice virtuous cycle or circle, but that's just me. So I've always valued the idea of a worthy rival, and more it's become something that I actively seek out and look for. And within Dan Hasl's wonderful book, there was this great example which had real resonance with me, which is Anna Meares to the right and Victoria Pendleton to your left. And it's about essentially they're velodrome cyclists. So, they go very fast around a very narrow and steep wall. If you've ever been, standing alongside a velodrome, you know just how frightening those places can be. It's definitely a vertical drop from the top and a very sharp incline from there on down. So it brings together sort of a certain, firstly, thighs. You need big, strong thighs, as all male and female cyclists in that sport have. And you need sort of a certain risk-taking tendency, let's say, a bit of adrenaline junkie in the DNA, in the makeup. But from memory, Anna Meares has won 4 gold medals, and sort of her and Victoria Pendleton went back and forward on and off the track. And the idea being that Anna Meares would always use her as her worthy rival, so she would study her, which is something that's covered in Hajikuri, the Book of the Samurai, believe it or not, which is a very good book. If you've not read it, I strongly urge you to look at it. Too many people read, the Book of Five Rings or something much more mainstream, but Hajikuri is where it's at if you're looking for these kind of things, competition and challenge networks. And so Anna Meares would, sort of obsess over her rival opponent competition and take really close notes on what she was doing, her strengths, where she was strongest in the race and so forth, so that she could then use that to reflect upon herself. So it's always a rival as a mirror in this case rather than anything else. And so you might think, well, what the hell's that got to do with teaching? And to me, it has a great deal. So for me personally, I always thought, I was teaching well in my class. I did a great job, I felt, at points, but then there were the awful days. And I thought, yeah, great, that's doing good, probably 6-7 years into my career. And then I heard about a man named Yelmer Evers, and he had just won, he'd become a top 50 finalist in the Global Teacher Prize. And I thought, okay, what's that? And also, who is this person? And he wrote Het Alternative, which is the alternative. And it was kind of sort of almost like a call to arms, something an activist would write about the idea that teachers should have more say over education, which, in an ideal world wouldn't be a revolutionary idea, but in our world, of course, it very much is, and that's wrong for a whole bunch of reasons. But anyway, reading his work, finding out what he did, and sort of he was very much an early adopter of the flipped learning instructional video type of thing that that I would then spend the rest of my teaching career up until now doing. And he had a lot of dramatically interesting ideas about approaching history and philosophy in class, and sort of a burgeoning view of a democratic approach to teaching. And obviously, if that sort of thing excites you, I suggest you seek out his work as well. But that kind of got me thinking. Prior to then, I didn't even know that there was kind of people like him who sort of had an impact beyond that classroom. I didn't know that was possible. Definitely didn't know what a Global Teacher Prize was. And then more recently, as I kind of, these things bubbled away in the background, I read all of his books and the series that spun out of it, which is the Flip the System series of books. I kept in mind, okay, well, this is interesting, and I'm really interested in that kind of that bigger picture thinking, which at that stage of my career was sort of becoming something that was getting me up out of bed late at night to talk to random people on the internet. Not random people, very important people in the world of education from around the world. That brought me to yesterday, Sibyl Kumaran, who again was a top 10 finalist in the Global Teacher Prize from Australia, from Rudy Hill High School originally at that time. She's now in Canada plying her trade with another wonderful academic who I highly respect. But at that time, we sort of developed some sort of a connection, relationship, friendship, whatever you want to call it. Not relationship, that sounds a bit sus. But that kind of a connection where she was encouraging me to do the things that I was starting to do, and I was very much following the footsteps of her greatness in many respects. And then Deb Nedelicki, who was one of the 3 Australian version of the System Australia books. So these sort of 3 people in that respect to kind of a much that's not definitely not something everyone should be trying to do. Question, concern, idea to be thrown around, especially considering the thing we already know, the backbone, which is that teachers are working incredibly hard in doing incredible hours, 40, 50 hours a week, really doing the hard yards, giving up weekends to do marking and all those sort of things. So it's definitely not something that you would want to see, across the whole system. But there is, for me personally, elements that are interesting and exciting. So, we all apply for jobs, and I've applied for way more and been accepted for far fewer. And I think I, at least personally, find some value in that application writing process. Some of it's just writing nonsense and filling in, I can write emails and write and type, believe it or not, really well. That standard criteria that we, at least in Victoria, all know about and think is a bit silly. And so on the left, I've got, a typical job interview question for a Victorian teacher job. And on the right-hand side is one for the Global Teacher Prize. And you can see one is a little bit more aspirational than the other. So I find both processes useful. And it's something that I've continued to try and do, writing applications to things that, are perhaps out of my league, just as a process of reflection and reflection, with an X, that is. So to do that, to do these things, this is a blend of, very personal for me, and kind of trying to draw a broader bow and a broader brush stroke as well. I think it's important to have a challenge network. So I only listed 3 people there, but I could tell you hundreds of other people who, online or in person, who I've tried to emulate, looked up to, and trying to compete with in the most healthy way possible, because it all feeds back and contributes to the system that we're a part of and the students that we teach every day. So just food for thought, I hope. That's my reflection on challenge networks for teachers and how they might have.
Nope, seem to have lost him there. Maybe that was the end. Yep, that's the end of his recording. But hey, that was wonderful to hear. Stephen is such a well-respected educator in Victoria and now internationally with his awards. And it's wonderful that he was able to share with us. So Stephen, thank you. I'll be emailing you and thanking you personally later on tonight, or if not tomorrow. We know you've got heavy teaching commitments. He's now teaching at the University of Melbourne at the moment too. He's a great example of someone who's really treating teaching, or the education profession, as a profession and making the most of it as a professional educator. And so often we as teachers sometimes think that, it's just a job. It's just a job to get money and have other things. But really, there's so many opportunities for educators who are passionate about the work and the job to be incredibly professional and to get lots of opportunities to achieve in all sorts of ways. So Stephen's a classic example of exactly that. So thank you, Stephen.
Hi, Ben Porter here from the Adobe Education team. Thanks for watching Inject Creativity Live. And for all you educators out there, if you have not yet joined the Adobe Creative Educator program, please do so.
We have a special announcement. Oh, let's get that video looking a bit better. There we go. Special announcement for Victorian teachers.
Adobe and Microsoft are running a series of events in Victorian schools this year called Digital Skills Days.
During the day, the host schools will be enjoying a series of workshop events with students.
After school, teachers from the host school will be, as well as any educator in Victoria who lives within the region of the host school, is welcome to take part in a special professional development learning event with Microsoft and Adobe. Look up adobe.ly/digiskills-vic-22 to find out host school locations and dates.
Hello, welcome from Adobe's Global Education team, and thanks for watching Inject Creativity Live. If you're looking for more inspiration, learning, or resources, come join us at the Adobe Education Exchange at edx.adobe.com.
Now, did you get the April edition of the Australasian Adobe in Education newsletter? If not, it can be viewed via timkitchen.net, but you'll need to scroll through a few posts to find it, or look up the post from the 13th of April.
The lead story was about the coming Aipac Adobe Education Summit.
This is happening as an online event on Wednesday, the 28th of September.
Tim explains more in this clip.
If you can find the clip, there we go. Hi folks, the 2022 Aipac Adobe Education Summit is being held on Wednesday, the 28th of September, which is a school holiday period for most of you. Dr. Tim Paxton, Australia's leading researcher and consultant in the field of creativity and innovation in education, will be our special guest, and you'll also be hearing from the global Adobe Education team, as well as Adobe Education leaders who will be sharing their classroom success stories, creative catalyst talks, as well as providing a range of practical workshops to help you make the most of your access to Adobe tools, especially the free Adobe Creative Cloud Express set of tools and resources. Register via adobe.ly/aipac-edu-summit22 or scan this QR code. We are looking forward to sharing with you and your colleagues at the 2022 Aipac Adobe Education Summit.
Clara here from the Adobe Education team. I lead our global education community programs, and I'm excited to see you at the Aipac Adobe Education Summit.
If you're on Facebook and not already a member of the Australasian Adobe Education Community Facebook group, please join via facebook.com/groups/AUSAEL.
Join us and keep regularly involved with Adobe in education and the wider community.
Let's bring Jerry back on the screen for our farewell.
And Adobe Education leader Stephen O'Neill from WA will be our AEL presenter for episode 64 with the topic Simplicity and Responsiveness in Websites.
And Scott Miller, the 22-year-old CEO of BOP Industries, will be our guest for episode 65.
Now, for those watching live, get ready to move to adobe.ly/edu-meet-APAC for our brief fireside chat.
Special thank you to Jerry and Erin for helping to put this show together.
And another special thank you to Stephen Colber for his contribution to this episode.
Here's Rob the Robot to sign things off for this episode. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for watching this episode of Inject Creativity Live. For those who are watching live, join us now via adobe.ly/edu-meet-APAC for an informal, non-recorded fireside chat to meet and interact with our presenters and other audience members. During this informal chat, you will be able to complete the feedback form and apply for a professional development certificate. If you are not watching this live, join us live next time. Use this QR code or link to find out about dates and topics. And use this QR code and link to find out about other Adobe in Education professional learning opportunities. On behalf of the Adobe in Education team, keep being creative.